If you're about to hit buy on a HomePod mini, an Apple TV, or a pack of AirTags, pause for a second. In the next few minutes, I'm going to save you from buyer's remorse, show you when Apple is most likely to refresh each of these, and give you a simple rule that makes the decision effortless. Stay with me to the end, because I'll also give you 2 red flags that almost always signal a new model is close, plus a money-saving trick most people never use. Let's set the stage. Apple hasn't updated these 3 in a while. HomePod mini first launched in 2020. AirTag arrived in 2021. The current Apple TV 4K came out in 2022. That's a long time in tech years, so where are the new ones? Is Apple skipping them, or is something bigger going on behind the scenes? Here's the short truth. Accessories like these don't follow the yearly iPhone rhythm. Apple updates them when there's a meaningful new experience to deliver, not just to change a chip number. That means 2 things for you. First, the current models are more finished than you might think. Second, when Apple finally does move, it's usually because there's a real reason. Better wireless tech, a smarter Siri, deeper home integration, or a price shift that changes the game. Let's break it down, one product at a time, so you know exactly whether to buy now or wait, and what signs to watch for. HomePod mini. Small speaker, surprisingly big job. It's Apple's most affordable entry into the home, a Matter thread. Smart home hub and the device a lot of people rely on for quick Siri commands, timers, intercom, and casual music. Under the hood, it uses watch-class silicon and Apple's acoustic tricks to punch above its size. Since launch, Apple's only changed colors and unlocked the built-in temperature and humidity sensors via software. No big HomePod Mini 2 yet. So why the wait? Because Apple's home strategy isn't just about louder bass, it's about smarter interactions. Apple is clearly investing in better on-device intelligence for Siri across the ecosystem. When that becomes ready for the living room and kitchen, when "Hey Siri, set the lights to dinner mode and cue the jazz playlist you know I like," actually feels personal and quick. That's a catalyst for new hardware. Another likely trigger is ultra-wideband. Newer Apple devices have a second-generation UWB chip with better range and precision. If Apple wants seamless handoff, room awareness, and truly accurate device proximity, that next-gen UWB in a future Mini makes sense. Here's what matters for you right now. If you need a small, reliable, Apple-centric speaker today, the current Mini is a safe buy. It already acts as a smart home hub, it integrates beautifully with Apple Music, and it's stable. You can stereo pair 2 minis for a wider soundstage, and for many kitchens, bedrooms, and offices, that combo is more than enough. If you've got kids, timers and intercom alone are game changers. But if you're dreaming about a HomePod with an actual display, richer on-device intelligence, or a leap in room awareness, waiting could pay off. Apple has long been rumored to be exploring a HomePod with a screen or a docked iPad experience in the home. Those kinds of products don't happen every fall, but the smoke has been there for a while. A meaningful mini refresh would likely carry a new chip, better mics, and updated UWB. If your current setup works and you can wait through Apple's typical announcement windows, spring product drops, WWDC in June for software roadmaps, and the September-October hardware season, you might get clarity without spending a dime. 2 quick pro tips if you do buy a Mini now. First, placement matters more than you think. Put it near a wall for a little extra warmth in the base, and toggle Reduce Bass in the Home app if your room gets boomy. Your ears will thank you. Second, if you pair Minis with Apple TV for streaming, it's a nice living room upgrade, but note that Full Home Theater EARC for external sources is reserved for the larger HomePod, not the Mini. No surprises later. Now Apple TV. This box quietly does a lot. The latest Apple TV 4K runs on the A15 chip, which is way overpowered for streaming. It handles 4K Dolby Vision, HDR10+, Dolby Atmos, fast app switching, and the kind of smooth interface you don't really appreciate until you go back to a laggy tvOS. Apple's been pushing tvOS features more than hardware. Better screensavers, improved Siri, profiles, Fitness Plus, and continuity camera for FaceTime using your iPhone. All of that keeps the 2022 model feeling current. So again, why no quick refresh? Because you don't need a racing engine to watch Netflix. For most people, the A15 is idle half the time. The next Apple TV will happen when Apple wants to do one of three things: push a much cheaper entry price to grab market share, deliver a new use case like built-in camera or deeper gaming, or align with a meaningful new chip that enables something visible. There have been whispers of lower-cost models and faster chips in testing, but if Apple can deliver the experience you want today with the existing box, they tend to let it ride. Should you buy the current Apple TV? If your TV's built-in software annoys you if you live in Apple's ecosystem, or if you own an Apple TV older than the 2021 model, yes. The interface consistency, picture quality, and long support window make it an easy recommendation. You'll also get access to Apple Arcade titles that run far smoother than on bargain sticks. If you already have the 2021 Apple TV 4K, the jump to 2022 is modest. It's nice, but not essential. And if you're hoping for a console-level leap for big games, that's not guaranteed. Apple has the horsepower, but the platform focus still leans toward casual and mid-core experiences. One tip that instantly improves your picture. In settings, enable match dynamic range and match frame rate. That forces the Apple TV to output movies and shows in the format they were mastered in, which kills soap opera effect and preserves director intent. Second tip: if you have an iPhone, use the color balance feature to quickly tune your TV. No, professional calibrator needed for a noticeable improvement. All right, AirTag. This one is interesting because the current model is already great at what it does. Use Apple's gigantic Find My network to help you find your stuff. It launched in 2021 with U1 Ultra Wideband, precision finding on iPhone 11 and newer, a built-in speaker for chirps, and a simple CR2032 coin cell you can replace yourself. Over time, Apple rolled out stronger anti-stalking protections, and in 2024, Apple and Google launched a cross-platform alert standard to reduce unwanted tracking abuse. A lot of upgrades to AirTag have been software and policy, not hardware. So where's AirTag 2? The most credible expectation is a hardware bump with Apple's newer UWB tech, better range, more stable directionality, possibly improved power efficiency, and maybe a louder speaker. Timing chatter has pointed to 2025, but Apple's timing can slip. If you need to tag luggage, keys, a backpack, or a bike now, the current AirTag is absolutely worth buying. The power of AirTag is the network size, not just the chip. In the US, with hundreds of millions of iPhones pinging the network, you'll see results that smaller ecosystems can't match. 2 practical tips. First, name your tags with purpose. Keys is fine, but Dad's work keys, or Black Ramoa, helps when you've got multiple items and family sharing turned on. Second, if you're tracking high-value luggage, use 2 tags placed in separate compartments. It doubles your odds of a clean ping if one tag is shielded by clothes or metal frames. And one more, not all CR2032 batteries are created equal. If you replace the battery and your AirTag acts flaky, swap to a different brand or one without. A bitterant coating. Some coatings have caused contact issues in the past. Now let's zoom out. Why hasn't Apple refreshed these yet? Because these products are pretty mature, because Apple saves its biggest annual fireworks for iPhone and Watch, and because most of the meaningful improvements to the experience flow through software and services. When Apple adds a new wow layer, smarter Siri responses that feel local and contextual, richer handoff and proximity experiences using newer UWB, or a living room experience that begs for a camera-enabled Apple TV, that's when hardware changes make sense. Meanwhile, Apple often experiments quietly. Code references in betas, regulatory filings, internal test hardware. Nothing until it's something. So do you buy now or wait? Here's your simple rule that works almost every time. If the current product matches the job you need done today at a price you're comfortable with, and it's at or below a typical sale price, buy it. If you're holding out for a specific, concrete feature that changes how you'll actually use it, like precision finding from farther away, a smarter Siri you'll rely on every day, or a cheaper Apple TV that hits your budget, wait through Apple's next announcement window and reassess. I promised you 2 red flags that almost always signal a refresh is close. First, stock wobble. When shipping times quietly slip or big retailers start running out of certain configurations, pay attention. Apple manages inventory tightly. Second, Sudden aggressive discounts on the old model from multiple major retailers at the same time, especially outside of big holidays. That's often a sign they're clearing shelves. Bonus green flag, references in beta software to new model identifiers. You tend to see those leak in developer circles before Apple speaks. Let's make this practical with money thresholds. For HomePod Mini, if you see it under $80 from a reputable US retailer, that's a strong buy for what it does. At $99, it's still fair if you need it now. At $60-$70 in a flash sale, grab 2 for a stereo pair and call it a day. For Apple TV 4K, anything at $99 is excellent. If you find the 128 gig, Ethernet model under the usual price and you care about wired networking or thread router capability, that's the one to get. AirTags usually hover around $29 each or $99 for a 4-pack. If you catch the 4-pack near $80 or bundled with accessories you'll actually use, that's solid. Timing matters too. In the US, Apple's best predictable deal windows are back to school, Black Friday and holiday season, and random but real price cuts from Amazon, Best Buy, Target, and Costco. Also remember Apple's return window. You get 14 days. And during the holiday season, Apple typically extends returns into January. That's your safety net. If something new drops right after you buy, you can return and swap. Use that. It turns waiting anxiety into a no-risk trial. Let's quickly connect each product to a real-life decision. You want a HomePod Mini for the kitchen? You want hands-free timers to control HomeKit lights and to kick off music while your hands are messy. The current Mini nails that. If you've got an older iPhone or don't care about the next-gen proximity dance, there's no reason to wait. But if you specifically want a smarter, more conversational Siri, something that controls scenes intuitively and knows your household, routines, watch the next major Apple software event. If Apple talks about upgraded voice experiences in the home, a hardware refresh could follow. You're considering Apple TV because your TV's built-in system drives you up the wall. The current Apple TV will make you happier on day one. Smooth, simple, long-term updates. Buy now and set match dynamic range and frame rate so your movies look right. If you're hoping for a dramatically cheaper Apple TV or a version with a built-in camera so you don't need your iPhone for FaceTime on the couch, waiting is reasonable, but don't wait forever. Your daily happiness might be worth more than a possible $40 savings 6 months from now. You're eyeing AirTags for upcoming travel. Don't wait. The travel stress you avoid is worth more than whatever marginal precision a future model might add. If your trip is next month, buy the current ones, set them up, and test them around the house so you know what the alerts sound like and how precision finding feels on your phone. If you're not traveling and your use case is more nice to have the need and you love having the latest radio tech, keep an eye on 2025 rumors and reassess when dates look real. Here's something Apple won't market loudly but matters to you. The Find My network is the magic. An AirTag in a dense US city pings constantly as people walk by with iPhones. That network effect is why the current AirTag already feels new. A second-gen chip would be icing for edge. Cases, basements, garages, parking decks. But the core value is people around you. If you live in a rural area with fewer iPhones, double tagging important items is a smarter upgrade than waiting for a new model. Let's talk about one fear. What if I buy now and Apple drops the new one next week? First, Apple tends to move in patterns. Hardware announcements cluster in spring and fall. Software previews in June give you a sense of the company's direction. Second, you have that return window. And third, the current models won't suddenly get worse. They'll keep getting software love. If you need it now, buy with confidence. If you can wait a little, set a calendar reminder for the next Apple event window and reassess once you have facts, not rumors. Before we land this plane, a few small, high-impact tips that make these products better immediately. For HomePod Mini, create scenes in the Home app that match your real routines. Hey Siri, movie time can dim lights. Close blinds and set volume in one shot. It turns the Mini from a music bubble into a home controller. For Apple TV, ditch TV speakers and plug in decent sound. Soundbar, receiver, even a good pair of powered speakers because the difference in dialogue clarity and immersion is night and day. For AirTag, share the item with a family member if you both need to see its location. It avoids confusion and unnecessary item left behind pings. One last mindset shift. Buying tech is not about chasing the newest thing, it's about solving real problems. The best time to buy is when the product you're considering is already good enough for what you need. at a price that won't sting if an update appears. These three? They're already mature, reliable, and well supported. The updates will come when Apple has a story worth telling, not because a calendar flipped. All right, here's that one-sentence rule I promised. The one that saves you from buyer's remorse. If the current model does the job you need today, and the only thing you're waiting for is maybe something better, buy it now unless there's a known Apple announcement window within the next few weeks. That's it. Clear, simple, and it works. Now I want to hear from you. Which one are you leaning toward? HomePod Mini, Apple TV, or AirTags? Are you buying now or waiting for the next wave? Drop your thoughts below. And if this helped you decide, share it with someone who's stuck on the fence. I'll keep you posted when the first real signals of new models appear, stock changes, code references, the whole thing. Until then, buy smart, use the return window, and enjoy your tech doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Make everyday life a little easier.